I had no intention and no expectations when I queued up Mads to get a simple task accomplished. My thought process was pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and knock out as many horror films from 2024 over the weekend, report back, and then make a list to YouTube. Little, simple, different, on with my life. That would be all that I'd have to do. But fortunately for me, Mads didn't get that memo, and it didn't really give a fuck. From the opening frame, like a shot of adrenochrome, this film opens as one buyer visits a dealer to try a new substance and score for the party that he's fixing to attend. Mads opens with such a frantic and schizophrenic pace that before you can even say electric boogaloo, our lead is out of the house, and he's vibing, and he's twitching, and he's just grinding on air. He has got something real in his system, and he is just vibing, pulsating to the effects of this new drug and jamming into his Mustang, top down as the electro beat washes over he and the viewer. Mads, from the intro, is the real deal, dude. Taken as such, one long take, which is how I'm going to do this review. One long take. From situation to situation, it keeps you on your heels and it chokes the breath from your lungs, barely giving you a chance to even wonder what the hell is going on. There's been a plethora of films that utilize this technique with, some lackluster results. This technique, they're usually digitally stitched back together, and because of so, they're kind of lacking any real seamless integrity when you do this one take thing. Kind of like Silent House, there's been a bunch of films that try to do it. They always come off a little bit hacky, even if I do like some of those films. What we do know is Romain scores a new pill, and his tripping evening turns from bad to worse when a strange woman gets into his car. Now, I'm going to try to do this without spoiling it too much, but this strange woman, I don't know if he hits her with his car. I don't know if she just appears. I don't know, because of his state of mind, he just looks over and all of a sudden there's a strange woman. It's kind of hard to say, but I can say she is strange because she's missing her teeth and her tongue, and she's bleeding all over him and every damn thing. To call this film a fresh take on the zombie genre, it's just that. And what does fresh mean? What does fresh mean? Previously not used, different. That can be methods, that can be styles, that can be framing, transitions. At one point, it felt like we were tracking this film from a skateboard, and we're feeling every single bump of this Mustang and every speed wobble along the way. Fresh take on the zombie genre, yeah, damn right. Because the film, plays out in real time as well, we are given a ringside seat to a host of folks and ravers at a party experiencing the worst trip of their lives in various forms. And this camera does go through different people's perspectives, and, it's vibing, it's pulsating, it's rhythmic. Sounds horrible, right? And it is. It absolutely is. Because the film plays out in real time, we get to see a mixture of kind of Requiem for a Dream, Evil Dead 28 Days Later, right? It injects this party from a casual rave to full-on paranoia, inducing panic attack ragers with disastrous results. White lines, shaking hands, foaming at the mouth, symptoms of the aunts, bleeding nostrils, right? These are all just symptoms that get pretty weird, and in the words of the great Hunter S. Thompson, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro, right? Strobe lights, pulsating electronica, and a strange hum finds this French language film right in the sweet spot of clever and unique without really ever bloating its runtime. At some point, I did wish the film would slow down its pace for just a second so I could investigate and kind of ask some questions as to what's actually really going on in this film. Why, what is happening? Can we just slow down for a second, right? And I think that inability to do that it's going to divide some audiences. I think the trick, if you're looking for something with heart and gumption to try something new, the trick of this film being the one take and not wanting to slow down. If you want to try something new, this pulse-pounding zombie thriller, it's easily worth the cost of admission, especially with its really, really mean and lean runtime. Told through the perspective of three different characters, the strength of this film, I think, lies in the introduction to Romain. He's trying to score as he becomes patient zero, bringing his plague roots back to the party, where the film then shifts to more of an outbreak-like survival thriller, if you will, with danger and the horror of the unknown lurking around every corner. So much of this film is full of horrific moments, but it's not really shown to you linearly like what you would usually see, right? Where we just go up to somebody, we stab them, we watch them fall, and then it's just like things are happening off screen, and it's moving so fast that you have to assume that things are going really, really negatively. And yeah, if they slowed that down, I think that would be really cool to see. The blood and gore is just left to the imagination as this infection spreads. So you keep telling yourself, I'm just having a bad trip. I'm having a bad trip, right? You're getting the fear. You're going to survive this, though. There are some scenes here, man, that are set up and shot extremely well, where there's a woman who's running from her life, right? And she's realizing she's transforming into a zombie when she's running away from a hail of gunfire. She's taking damage. She's like getting shot in the back, getting shot in the stomach, and she doesn't even blink. She just keeps on moving. She like twitches like, oh, that must be a firearm, right? It's a trip, man. You gotta like stick him in the head. That's really the only way to get him, right, from Night of the Living Dead. Another scene, stealing performance, utilizes a scooter with the woman for a knack of wheeling, wailing, and gnashing her teeth, smearing blood and infection with no PPE ever really be even offered, really. So you got these two women on the scooter. One of them's laughing hysterically, wanting to go to the party, trying to talk to her friend, kind of kissing her ear, kind of being very odd, kind of like just like gnashing at her neck. Like, is she gonna eat this woman while she's on the scooter? Pretty intense scene. Talk about girls gone wild. It is a trip right there. The final segment and the change of perspective follows another party goer, because the first half hour we're kind of following Romain, then we kind of meet his girlfriend and we go through like their little squabbles and her infection rate, and then we finally finished up with another party goer who heads for his house to check for her mother. The government is now involved, right? We're starting to see bodies. We're starting to see Secret Service, if you will. People are trying to control this outbreak. They're trying to keep the contagion at bay, and gunfire just rips apart the streets. There's helicopters now at this point. Everything's whizzing overhead. Civilians are running into different rats of different blood-soaked demons, like almost like deadites, depending on how you want to look at it. It kind of ends, and I was like, oh, after all of that, like it had so much potential, and I still think it's a pretty damn solid film. Is it going to be for everybody though? Because of the one take, I'm going to say no, and because it doesn't have like a really strong ending, the payoff would have to be how much you believe the characters and how fast this infection spreads. And do you like films like that are kind of a new take on the zombie genre? If you do, then yeah, dude, stick around. There might be something in here for you. But immediately you can see that French horror is one bad mother effing subgenre for us horror fans. Don't let the language or the subtitles slow you down. There's barely any language in this movie. It's moving too fast to even read subtitles. There's a few things exchanged, right? There's a few phone calls, a few governmental warnings, and that's pretty much it. This thing is just off and running. It is high dread, low dialogue, shades of Danny Boyle, Romero, Aronofsky for sure. Cronenberg, kind of feels like The Crazies and other George Romero films. Other contagious, badass films just kind of all rolled up into one via Infection. So with all of those positives, some of the negatives are those who like good gore and a good kill count. I don't always want to have to imagine what happens off screen. Hell, even a little bit of a backstory. Where did this plague come from? What happened? Where was the first infection, right? A little bit of backstory would be kind of cool to know about. But this is a very bare bones approach and take, and it's not going to be for everyone, but for a lot of people, they're going to find this pretty refreshing, I think, especially fans of 28 Days Later. And films that don't need to give you a bunch of exposition, they just hit you over the head and they keep going. This is a beautifully shot film. It's very artistic. There's some crazy like camera angles where we're following, we're running this way, we're transitioning. The film, says Mads like at the beginning, and you have to like drive through it in the Mustang, and it's almost like part of the trip. Awesome film, dude. Awesome film. I'm going to go ahead and say this is about a 7 out of 10. It's on Shudder right now. It's on Amazon. I was going back and forth of reviewing this and Strange Darling. Strange Darling is a different kind of film. I think that it's incredible for different reasons, but the twists and the turns I don't think were totally exactly what I wanted from that film. I still really liked it. Maybe I'll review that one too. I did kind of like take some notes on it, but if you want to see more from me, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and then follow me on social media. A bunch more stuff coming this week. I've got some new disgusting horror films that I got to try to watch. Hopefully you don't mind these one take reviews. I was kind of in a hurry and I just wanted to see if I could just get through it, kind of like you get through Mads. You don't get to take a break. You just, warts and all, this is what you get. So if this style still works, hopefully you're here for the long run. Subscribe, holler at me down below, hit the like button, guys. I love you so much. Take care. Cheers.